So for this last blog, I'm going to show you guys a little bit about automation in Logic, which is like where you can have the music, like let's say, get louder or pan from the left ear to the right ear, and you don't have to have your fingers on the controls to do it. You can just write it in and it'll copy that whatever you tell it to do to make the music do what you want. So let's take a look. So now we're in Logic. We're going to click this button here if we want to see our automation. Now this yellow line here, the bright one, is for the volume. And then you can see there are smaller yellow lines behind there which have different features. So right now volume is checked, but we can change. So I guess there's a compressor on this track that we can automate certain aspects of that. We can automate how it pans, the mute and solo buttons, and those are the most important. So let's say, for example, just to show you how this works, let's say we wanted our beat to start off kind of quiet and gradually get louder. We can move. It's basically the same thing as if we were just moving the fader down, but instead we're just drawing it in and having it copy what we draw and what we tell it to do. Now you don't have to draw it in, you can actually use the fader, but you'll notice how they're connected. When I move this, the fader moves with it. So they represent the same thing. So now let's just quickly hear how that sounds. So there, you heard how it got louder. That's a very basic example of how we can automate the volume of this track. Now, you could also, like I said, use the faders. Here where this green button is, where it says read and write, this is where it shows you whether you're writing the automation, or you have different options to there's a mode called latch, which is basically when you move the fader, it'll stay where you moved it and it'll latch on to that point and stay there until you move it again, which can be very useful. Touch is whenever you touch the fader, only when you touch the fader will it write the automation. And then write, it's constantly writing the automation. So whatever moves you make, as you're playing the track and you move this, you'll be writing the automation. So you'll be essentially creating these yellow lines, and when you move the fader, how we saw before, this will move. So it'll be creating all these different little points whenever you move it. So here, let's just to show you what's going on. So when we have the write automation on, right now it's overwriting what we just wrote because it's in the write mode. But I'm going to undo that because I want to show you when we draw it in like this, what our fader is doing. So I put it from write back to read now, and now watch this fader as it plays with those squiggly lines. Hopefully that wasn't too shaky for you. But you saw how the fader moved as it was moving according to what these values here are. So now I want to show you another thing that we can change. I went ahead and selected the pan as the next thing to automate, and you'll see it's represented here by this green line. And if we change the panning, let's say we'll start moving it from the left to the right and back. Again, I'm just drawing in some points to kind of show you guys how this works. So again, you won't be able to hear it because I'm on a cell phone that doesn't really have a left and right channel, but just know that the sound is going from the left to the right and back when I play it. And you'll see that here. So again, I apologize for the shaky camera, but anyway, so you saw how the pan would go back and forth according to how these values are set. Well, let's undo all that, because I don't actually want that. So the next thing I want to show you guys real quick is another thing that we can automate. So I showed you the volume in the pan, but we can also automate EQs and you know, any effect that you put on a track, you can actually automate different values in it and different, you know, features it has. So for example, if I select this high frequency cutoff, and then I'm going to move it and watch what the EQ does. So now you can see how so what I'm going to do is just kind of play around with this the same way I did with the other ones and let you hear the difference. Alright, let's play it, and we're going to watch our high frequency cutoff move. Isn't that neat? So now let's just, we're going to take a few random tracks here and automate some different features and put it all together now. And okay, now let's play all these together and listen to it. So there you go. There's a quick tutorial on automation and different things that you can automate and how to use it in a song is, more up to your own creative license. I can't tell you when to create a fade or when you should use a pan, but I just showed you how to do it, and then you can mess around with it in your song and see what you like. So thanks for watching, and we'll get more tutorials up soon.